Hello everyone and welcome back to Crystal Reef County on the sunny Atlantic coast of Florida. In the previous episode we built up much of the necessary infrastructure needed to really begin building a big city, such as the downtown road layout as well as railway and highway connections. And in today's episode I am very excited to announce that we will finally be developing the downtown core of our first big city on this map, San Leon. That's right, we've had a vote and the result is pretty clear. So once again, thank you all for the many wonderful suggestions for the name of the city, and of course thank you for voting as well. There will be plenty more votes in the future, so if you don't want to miss out, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications. Now, whether you're new or regular here on the channel, you are of course very welcome on board as we are building Crystal Reef County, Florida. Our last ode to Cities Skylines 1 and our attempt at building a realistic Florida-themed county while only utilizing vanilla assets and vanilla props. And if you enjoy my content, liking and commenting goes a long way. Thank you. Now, before I actually get to building the downtown core and use my, I guess it's kind of a step-by-step guide that I've been really happy with using, there's something I need to fix first, and I need to fix it because you guys have told me very explicitly in the comments of the last video, so episode 2, that I need to fix it, and it's these sunken highways. So in the previous episode when I built this stretch of sunken highway, I did comment that I was a little unsure. I had my doubts on whether this was realistic for Florida, you know, given the climate, geographical features of the state. But while I was a little doubtful, you guys had no doubts at all, especially you native Floridians. You were very quick to point out that sunken highways are pretty much a no-no in much of Florida, at least eastern Florida that kind of stretches alongside the Atlantic coast. And that is of course the case here in Crystal Reef County. It's nestled in the central, along the central part of the Atlantic coastline of eastern Florida. So yeah, I needed to fix this. So what you'll see me do here in the background is just do a little revamp of the highway network so that the very long sunken stretches that we built in the previous episode are instead actually converted to elevated segments. So the complete opposite of what I built. So yeah, I wanna thank you guys for the feedback. It's really part of what I love about this community. It's that I get to implement some of the expert advice that I get from you guys. So that's very nice. I did check on Google Maps to see if I could actually find like long stretches of sunken highways in Florida, and it was really difficult. I did find some interchanges where parts of highways were sunken below like normal water level, I guess you could say. But it and this was in an area between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. But it was only very short segments and only momentarily before the highways once again transitioned into elevated highways. So that is definitely a Florida key feature that I'm gonna keep in mind as we expand our highway network throughout the series. Alright, so with the highway segment here being elevated, as you guys can see, and having some pretty smooth, I think, on and off ramps and an overall pretty complex look, which I like and feels very Florida-ish. We are ready to start developing downtown San Leon. And this is probably one of the more exciting episodes for me to create, because the downtown core is, for me at least, and I don't know about you guys, always like a very crucial part of a city's development for me. Because if I get it wrong, then it's a couple hours, I will zoom out and I'll be like, meh, damn. And pretty often, earlier at least when I would play, I just kind of, close the game in frustration because it just didn't turn out like I had envisioned. So pretty often when I like jump into a new city, I had this amazing idea. Maybe I watched a YouTube video or I saw some cool screenshot and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna build that. And then the downtown kind of doesn't really connect or make sense, and it's all done. But what I've learned through my, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 hours of playtime now is that if I take like a few steps in my approach, like a structured approach to building the downtown, it actually turns out all right. So the first one, the first lesson I've kind of learned is that instead of placing down, super tall skyscrapers right out the gate, I'm gonna refrain from doing that, even if that's actually my end goal with the city, to have a scale where we have really tall skyscrapers, which is my plan for San Leon. I won't do that when I build the downtown at first. Because what I've found is that if I do place those super tall skyscrapers, then if we don't have any suburban developments or any sprawl of the city to actually support that those high-rises, they just keep sticking out to me. They just look odd, and the city looks very unfinished for a very long period of time. So what I will usually do is I'll start at a bit of a smaller scale, and then I will just reiterate on the downtown as we move along. So I will have one density level being like the maximum density as we start out in this episode, and then in like 5 or 10 episodes, or however many, when San Leon is a whole different beast, we might start slowly but surely upgrading downtown and just kind of redeveloping it basically. And I find that it makes enjoying the city, the progress as we grow it, much more enjoyable for me. But I also think that in the end, it probably also helps me achieve a bit of a more realistic look, because in a sense, it kind of follows the natural pattern of how our downtown would evolve, with growing demand resulting in higher and higher densities and higher buildings. So that's an approach I like to take. So that's kind of one thing that I like to work out from, and that's going to be the case today as well. Then I also have a few steps that I like to take. So the first real step I like to do, which is placing the very first buildings, of course, is that I want to place down some of the most prominent structures first, because they are gonna be the reference points in the downtown. They are gonna stick out the most. They're gonna be most visible. So I'd like to just kind of see if I can place them first, and that's going to give me like an overall idea of how the rest of the downtown is going to develop. So instead of starting to develop each block meticulously with, residential, commercial and all that stuff, I might start with just finding, okay, do I need like a courthouse? Do I need a stadium in my downtown core? The tall buildings that I do want, where do I want to place them, and so on and so forth. So that's basically how I approach it. I place down the most important stuff first. Then I can take a look around, I'll go into cinematic mode and I'll say, okay, that looks pretty cool here, and from this angle, all right. And then I feel that makes it a little easier for me to continue, because the next stage of development, which is of course some more, I guess, less important buildings, they just kind of blend in. They don't really stick out the same way. So I think a county seat, which is basically the place where the county council members and city council members of San Leon and Crystal Reef County meet to discuss politics, to vote and propose new laws, would be a pretty good place to start. And I've had a look around at some of the assets we have available here in vanilla Cities Skylines. I do have quite a few DLCs, so that helps a bit. And I think that's something that I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I got my money back. Whew, close call, huh? One building that I actually like and I think would be an okay fit is the Liberal Arts Administration building. Because we are going to build universities here in Crystal Reef County, hopefully more than one. And I think the coolest thing for us to build would be to build like a classical university and a trade school. And we can do other stuff as well, of course, but the liberal arts college, liberal arts here in Florida, man, we ain't need nothing like that. Ain't no jobs in that. So I think it would be pretty cool if we actually just grab this building here, which is the administrative building, and use that as the county capital here in Crystal Reef. Because I like the look, and these orange or these maroon tiles here, they feel kind of Florida to me. Let me know if you're in complete agreement with this decision, but personally, yeah, I kind of like it. We can change this later, because first we of course need like a good placement for it, and I'd want it to be somewhere pretty central here in the downtown core. So if we just grab it here and we move it, I think a fun question could be whether we should have this avenue maybe split and go around to kind of have like a more interesting road design here, a more interesting layout. So if we just try to adjust this ever so slightly, we could actually go ahead and grab these one-way roads. And then if we can just draw out these roads in I've got a weird road setup here that I will need to just fix so that we can align it perfectly. But if I do like this, but yeah, of course I need to change the direction like so, then maybe if we come about here, so sort of midway, we could draw these out to this node here, and we could do something like this and then delete this segment altogether. We can delete this segment, of course, and then perhaps a cool addition here could be to have this become like a pedestrianized area. Sandstone, maybe. We've got some cobblestone we could use, some small cobblestone. This looks pretty nice, I feel. We can stick with this for now. Maybe we can make it a little more symmetrical in nature by just dragging this out and adding it like this. And then this building, we'll need to just adjust it so that it's completely symmetrical, and then none of you poor OCD fellas have an attack. Then over here we'll do sort of the same setup, so we'll go from about halfway. Oh, let's just check actually how many tiles we are in here. We can just check the zoning. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on 7 and 8 we've got the split. So we need 6 in between. So that's about, it's actually about here, which is pretty far back. So I think I'm just gonna cut it a bit short so we don't have any issues with some oddities here. I'm going to grab this and I will upgrade this segment as well. And now there's actually a path going inside the building, which is not really needed. And there you go. We've got our county capital here in Crystal Reef County. I'm not completely sold on this building yet, but I just feel like the red roof here, it oozes a bit of Florida to me. But if you got other suggestions for what you really feel would be a better fit for a county seat and city council building, please let me know. I will be all ears, because yeah, I'm trying to explore the possibilities with the vanilla assets. Obviously, we'll just wrap this road up, but I think this shouldn't be one way. And this shouldn't either, and this shouldn't either. There you go. This gives us a little more flexibility. We're going to delete the segments and probably this as well. So a state capital, we only burned about 40k getting to place down that building. So that's a problem, a big problem. Maybe we can just turn it off for now, because then we don't have to pay the upkeep. Which is probably pretty important, because I'm absolutely burning through my cash balance right now. Now, I'd also like to place down an American football stadium. I do plan for San Leon to have all the major US sports franchises represented in the city, and the football stadium very close to the downtown core or within the actual core would be super cool. They are, however, a little expensive now that I check it, and it's probably a bit of a stretch to blow at least 170k on a stadium right now, because that's gonna dip us below 200,000, and yeah, we're gonna really enter shaky territory. So I think what we need now, after all this preparation, is to have people and businesses moving into San Leon. So with the county capital in place, it's time to actually start plopping down some buildings, and it's very important for me that they are growable buildings that will actually have people living in them and businesses thriving in them. So we're gonna have the same approach as we used to place down the county capital here. We're going to pick the biggest buildings first, so the actual like focal points of the city. And I'm gonna do just gonna remove some of these some of the industrial stuff here that we won't be needing, so that we can filter a little harder. I'm going to put down a mixture of older and more modern buildings. So this Queens and Brooklyn set is absolutely fantastic for this purpose. But there's not going to be a ton of this placed down, because what I found with most or many Florida cities is that they look pretty modern. So it seems that they have been pretty busy tearing down old deprecated stuff in Florida and just building new stuff. They don't really care all that much about preserving the buildings, basically. So for placing the buildings, we've got two main avenues here that cross at this intersection right at the downtown core. So I think this would be an ideal place to anchor a few of the taller buildings that we'll have in the city right now. So I think this is sort of like the maximum height I'll be working with. But I think it would be cool to place this down at this very central location here. And we'll just continue looking. I'd like to start by prioritizing some high density residential, because we're gonna need people to really move in, obviously. And I'll see if I can just squeeze these buildings together, and it looks like that's a pretty decent look for like a corner lot. I am going to use the Bob mod to remove the trees on this building, because they are just, yeah, they are bad trees. There you go. Let's see if there's anything else we need to remove. No, that's fine. And what I'm basically just shifting through and seeing what type of buildings I want to place, and I'm trying to narrow it down by specifying the size of the building I want for specific areas. That generally makes it a little easier. So if I place a 2x4 here, you can easily go in and you can mix it up with like a 2x4 office building. Oh, sorry, this is a commercial, of course. We can grab these two, and actually I think this is fine. I don't want to move this any closer. Over here we can increase the size a bit to get a corner building going, and then we can just decrease it ever so slightly, and we'll have like a small luxury storefront right here. And I'm gonna use Move It mod extensively just to move everything a little closer together. Now I want to try and mix in some pretty low density stuff in between the buildings, because I find that pretty typical of cities in Florida, that you will actually have towering skyscrapers that are next to like an empty lot or a parking lot for that matter, or at least like a very low density building. It actually all looks a bit odd, but I guess that's just how they have decided to use their land pretty badly, I guess. I'm gonna come in here and we are going to actually remove these tiles and the street lamp, because then I can move this building forward a bit. I want it to be closer to the avenue here, and we can align this building much better for like a wall-to-wall look. This is obviously a more modern building. I'm a little hesitant to place too much office because in the very beginning stages, I guess we won't have much of an educated population. So it's going to be pretty hard to actually meet office demand. So I'm not too happy about that. But a few of these buildings are actually pretty cool and would be a good fit. And I'm already starting to doubt whether this building is actually too tall for San Leon. It might just be. Now the parking assets that have been added to the vanilla game are just an incredible game changer, at least for someone who plays like I do. Because that's really something that was sorely missing in the vanilla game. So having this added is just, yeah, it changes everything. And what I like to do is I like to just move the parking into buildings, for instance, to create different parking designs. So this one, by just placing it inside of another building, it quickly becomes like a one row of parking basically. So that's something I really enjoy. And I can just adjust it like this so that it looks like there's a bit of backside parking here. Something else that's a really awesome addition I'm going to use a lot are these, let's see if I can spell it, these aprons that were, yeah, they're meant for, you know, paving up airport fields, but I am going to use it extensively for like, I think I've used it a lot over here on the industrial sites because it's, yeah, it's like for instance here, I've just placed one and then just added some random detailing, and I just feel that it adds so much to the realistic look just right out the gate. So I'm very happy with that. Back to building, of course. So we're gonna need a corner building here of some sort, and I'm just gonna filter super broad and see whatever pops up. Maybe not low density right there. I'm trying to create here is actually like a small pedestrian strip that actually goes between these buildings here. So I'm just going to, of course, adjust the parking accordingly. Something like this, because our Florida residents, of course, need to be able to park their big fat trucks right next to this so that they have easy access. But basically, we've pretty much got a small sort of boardwalk almost going here. It's not a boardwalk, it's just a pedestrian area here. We're just gonna align this and this. And as you guys can probably see, we've got some outdoor dining here. There's some rooftop dining here as well, because the building cuts through much of the block. So that's just a way of just adding a bit of extra flavor, I guess, to the area. A bit of extra character, at least. So I think I've already decided that I am going to switch out this building for a replacement. I'm not completely happy with how it looks. And I guess maybe if we can just go by building height, maybe that's just going to make it a bit easier for us to just pick a high-rise that we'd like on this spot instead of the other one, because I do feel that this would be a good place for a high-rise building. I don't want this one here, but I definitely want to place this one. So let's see, where do we need a bit of love? Maybe right here on this corner. There you go. And I want this building as well. That's also very Florida-ish, if you ask me. So it's a great fit. So I'm placing everything but what I actually intended to place. I guess that's just how it is for now. So I wonder if I am going to... Oh, I'm only looking at residential stuff. Well, that's a bummer, because this, of course, changes everything. This gives us a lot more options to actually work with. And it seems like 35 is probably too low of a cutoff, because I had a bunch of industrial stuff popping up. Now this one looks like a really sleek office tower that we could have somewhere in Miami. And it's of course the same case with this particular building. Maybe if there's something that's a little less Ooh, I like this building. I love this building. Yeah, we're going with that. Thank you. And then this one is very residential in nature, so I'm wondering if it would be better to like switch it up a bit, because some of these buildings are much more corporate looking. And I think that's what I want. This building in particular is very much what I want, so I think I'm going to place it over here, facing the avenue. And let's just, I like to just continuously take, there's something with the color here that's a bit odd. Can you look less ugly? Thank you. Although, man, this building really needs a refurbish of some sort. Anyways, let's just take a look at the skyline we've got so far from a few different angles. So it's actually pretty dense. And I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out right now. And I'm not sure I want to add all that many more high rises than this, because as I said, we are going to slowly but surely be expanding on the downtown core here in San Leon. So maybe we'll add a few more. It's a little uneven now, and I think we would have some more high rises here alongside like this coastline here. So let's try and add that. We can add a few different types. So there are these ones, which are like more cheap apartments, but obviously with an awesome view. All right, so things are actually taking shape now, and it's starting to sort of look like a city, I guess. This is like the crucial point in time for me, because I'll either zoom out and be very discouraged by what I've built and want to quit, or I'll be able to just kind of see, a bigger picture in mind, and I'll continue and be excited about it. And I'm happy to say that it's the latter for me. I think it looks pretty nice. There's definitely a base to work on here, but it's also time to just take a little pause and assess whether there are some changes we need to make or other things that we need to implement before we just continue plopping down buildings and building out the downtown. And there are already two things that I'd like to add. The first one's gonna be a bit of a change, because I did tell you guys that I don't want any like super tall, really massive skyscrapers in the city as a start, because yeah, like I said in the intro, it's gonna make it look a bit weird and out of place for a long time before we really build out the city in size. With that said, however, the skyscrapers or high rises I've chosen now, I'm very happy with, but they also have the skyline's kind of dull. I'd like to have a few buildings that just stick out a bit more, and luckily we've got some very cool option with the Skyscrapers content pack. Because it added a bunch of skyscrapers to the game, and many of them have different variations of different heights. So hopefully what I can do is I can pick some of the, let's say, shortest ones, and that's gonna add just that extra bit of flair to the skyline, make it just a bit taller, make it pop a bit more. And ideally I'd want some of these taller buildings to be, of course, anchoring these two main avenues that cut through downtown Sanglong. So if we start out by just, let's move this over here, and we'll just move this over here, just to kind of even it all out. Then we've got an open spot here, and I don't want to move these yet because maybe they can act as like the base for the skyscraper. Let's go in here and see what we've got. So we're going for the shortest and least bulky skyscrapers possible, and this one is just too obtrusive, to be honest. So let's see, we've got 4 variants of this Island Park tower. So if we pick the shortest one, a 95, then this is actually exactly what I'm looking for. So let's see if we can just fit it in here just as a test. And I think I'm just gonna make it a little brighter, something like that. Let's have a look. That's actually exactly what I'm looking for. It just adds a bit of extra character to our skyline by adding that peak, that kind of standout feature. So that's one, and I think ideally we're gonna place one more down. This one looks pretty short as well, 78 meters. So let's try this one, and ideally I also want this one to anchor one of the main avenues here. So maybe this is a good spot actually. We could go in here actually. It wouldn't actually anchor the main avenue, but it might look good anyways. I'm just gonna make it as white and bright as possible. We're gonna zoom out and we're gonna have a look. And I'm pretty happy with that. It's a bit shorter than the other one, but that's actually perfect because now we've got this, you know, we've sort of got a peak in our skyline here, and I'm very happy with that look. So for now, let's just keep this as is. And then there's one more thing I want to get done now and not wait until later, and that is to designate a few parks throughout our city, or throughout the downtown more specifically. I think if we can just pick our park area, and we're just gonna paint the park. It's not necessarily gonna be a functional park because I'll have to use the gate assets and all that, but I'd like to just paint down a few designated parks and then create really low detail versions of those parks. And the reason I want to do it now is that parks are pretty hard to retrofit afterwards if you forget about them. Well, they're not necessarily hard, but you usually have to bulldoze like a block to actually do it, which is a bit of a shame, I feel, because you've spent time working on it, right? So for now, we're just gonna make like super simple, quick parks. So very low detail, nothing fancy, nothing special, because we can always come back to this when it makes sense to spend the extra time on it. Which I don't feel is the case right now. So let's just make something very, very simple here. Yes, we've got the third one down here. There you go. And I mean, we're gonna keep it simple, but we might as well just add like a few palms or whatever to just kind of decorate it up ever so slightly. Nothing fancy. And we'll go for a bit of a different theme with the park over here. So I'm just gonna create these small clusters of bushes, and they will also be hosting the bigger trees of the park, so that the trees sort of have a base of bushes. And we'll go with some of these trees, and we'll go with some of these. So palms aren't the most prominent right here. I am gonna add some though, because I mean, we're in Florida, we need palms. And we can even just add, I end up doing a bit of detail now anyways, I know, but I don't want it to look, you know, completely unfinished, because it could take a while before we decide to really flesh out these parks and make them beautiful and higher detail, add some additional props. So until that time, let's just do some really simple detailing. Now, something else I want to experiment a bit with is adding bases to our skyscrapers or high rises, because many of these, they don't really have, I mean, they're not true mixed use, right? Because they don't have shops on the ground floor or anything like that. But I'd like to add that, or at least so that it looks like there's some shops or something at the ground floor or ground level. Because this makes things feel a little more real. So I just need to find the appropriate assets for this, and it could be these, I guess. So we'll just add these, and we'll grab it and add a segment in here. And we can grab some parking lots and add that out front, so that it's almost a little shopping arcade of sorts right here. Very nice. And maybe we've got a slim growable, another boutique, a cram burger in this case we can add here. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna use these bases like I said. So we just need to find these low density commercial assets, and we can just kind of plop them in. And we can flip this one around so that we've got two facades. Let's just see if we can make this work. Oh, I placed 500 of these now, I feel. That wasn't what I wanted. So just adjust this a bit and we can bring this back ever so slightly. I'm gonna need to remove the tree, because you guys can already sense that. If I just adjust it something like this. It's a bit tricky because of the stuff on the roof here, but yeah, I guess this actually looks fine. Then we'll just use the Bob mod to get these trees out of the way. There you go, and there you go. Doesn't look perfect, but we've got a base with some boutiques. Sorry, places to eat is what I'm trying to say. It's not a boutique. And we need to adjust this so it doesn't clip too much. There you go. I think this adds a lot to these buildings, because it's always a little odd when they just have facades where you don't have places for like any commercial or you know, office stuff or whatever. So that's a good addition. I'm gonna experiment more with that throughout the downtown, but I think now we just need to get back to expanding. Alright, so I'm going to pause again, and it's time to just assess how things are looking, and I like to do that by using the cinematic camera extended mod, lowering the field of view just a bit. 60 is a sweet spot, I find, and then maybe getting a bit more dramatic light by adjusting the time a bit. So something like 9:30 or around 9, I feel really spices things up a bit. I don't know why I prefer a lower field of view. I guess it's just SimCity 4 vibes. And then we can hit this one here and we can just have a look. So one thing that I've noticed that I'm very happy about with this series in general is that the performance on my PC is just awesome. I mean, the FPS here is, I think I have the game like capped at 30 or something, but it could easily be uncapped and achieve more FPS, because this is just wonderful to play with. Which also makes me think that Crystal Reef County might be a good series to dive into some more streaming on. Just some casual, calm streams with some good music. Let me know in the comments what you guys feel about that. I think it could be interesting. Anyways, I'm very happy with how this is turning out. I'm very happy with the skyline we have achieved. I think it looks very interesting from many different angles. Personally, I am also quite a fan of using this asset as the county political and administrative center. But like I said, I'm open to suggestions. So if you guys have anything, let me know. But I really think this looks like an old building with some obvious Spanish influences. So a good fit for me. But yeah, I'm very happy with this, I must say. So I paused because before we continue anymore with the downtown detailing or expansion, there are a couple of services and extra bits and pieces that I would actually just like to add to just make it a little more interesting. I would like to have, you know, some fire coverage with a fire department, and we are gonna need some police coverage. We're gonna need a school, like at least an elementary school, and then we can see if we can start actually earning some money so that we can build a high school maybe in the next episode. So I'm gonna dive into that, but the first thing I'm gonna do is, I've always wanted, there's like a certain asset that I've always wanted to use. I think I'm just gonna steal this type of road because it doesn't have any trees. Then I'm gonna upgrade here, and then I know there's this gate asset here, City Arch, a monumental gate that spans over a road, increases the tourist capacity of roads by 5%. It's pretty interesting, and I think, I mean, the fit right here is like, it's perfect if you ask me. So placing it here, I think that's a really good fit actually. We've got the gate here leading into the city of San Leon. So yeah, this is quite the entry view you have if you come here from the interstate. Which, I mean, this is America, so you are going to arrive at the city by car, not by train. But I mean, we have a train station. It looks nice. All right, we need some police coverage. We need healthcare as well, actually. Things are gonna start becoming very expensive, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how much tax revenue I'm actually gonna generate by what we've placed so far, and how much population we'll be seeing. But it won't be long before I hit play and we'll see people move in, because otherwise this episode is just gonna spiral out of control. So I think the cool thing is that one of the recent DLCs added some new service buildings that I feel they're a little more sleek and modern looking and a little more realistic overall. So I am going to be placing down, I say that, but it's 95k. I can't justify that, can I? That's just too expensive. I mean, we're gonna run out of money. I'm gonna have to go with a Band-Aid police station. It's not preferable, but there's no other solution. And I think I'm just gonna place it here. It's very near some big roads. We'll detail it up, no worries. So that's the police station, and I wonder if the high capacity 95. Okay, never mind. We're gonna go with a very simple firehouse as well, which is 12k, which is also expensive given the funds we have available now. But it's also necessary to get that built, I feel. Maybe we can even place them. Nah, I'm gonna place it over here, like so. We need a school. Let's see what we've got. High capacity elementary, 130k. Okay. That's 130k. Student capacity 4,332. Student capacity 234. Okay, maybe I should just do a little quick trick with maybe having 2 elementary schools that kind of stack on top of each other, and then that's that. Because otherwise, that is definitely way too expensive. I can't afford that. So I'm wondering if I can just stack 2 on top of each other here, and maybe if we use Bob to like remove some parking, which we don't want anyways. Maybe remove a fence. We can place that on our own, the industrial fence here. Then maybe that is gonna work. We'll just adjust this one ever so slightly. We got some playground stuff that's kind of sticking out here. That I guess the swing set, we'll need to remove that. And there you go. So that's a little better at least. It's not perfect, but that's gonna provide some of the school capacity that we'll need right now. Gonna add some palms. Grab this one. I think that looks okay. That blends in all right. The colors, especially, they kind of match this public housing project here. So that's all right. Let's just go ahead and look at our police station and check if that placement is. Yeah, I think that placement is actually okay. We are probably gonna need to like fill in this block here to make it stand out a little less, because it really is. It's really just looks a little lonely right now. So just remove the parking lots, and then I'm gonna move it much closer here to the road, because then ideally we could actually have like buildings kind of snug up next to it, so that it stands out a little less. Maybe it's not the most realistic to have these buildings be wall to wall with the police station, at least with the design of the police station. But I think for now it's fine. We'll add a little shop here of a sort, and then we'll just copy paste some parking. And let's see if we can adjust this building to kind of cover bits of the parking. I think we can. Very nice. And then this bend here is a bit awkward, so that's gonna be a little harder to work with. Probably not something I'm gonna spend a ton of time on now. I'll just add, I think I'll add one more building, like here at the edge. Fits in okay. Maybe we should add another residential building, and then I'm just gonna make it look a little empty, actually. This one is obviously too big. We can't go more than two zoning tiles deep. So we're gonna have to keep that in mind, and then just find something to kind of fit in. Maybe this one. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. We will grab an apron, if I can find one. I've got one here. Just fill in this area a bit. Actually, just go like this, and we'll have like an empty lot here. I feel that we're just gonna make overgrown. So we can use the picker mod to grab all the stuff that we've used to make the empty lot at at this other place. So that's very nice. Gonna make it easy for us to just fill this out. We've got some shrubs here we can grab as well. And some small bushes. Cool. Then we've got a dirt decal I've used throughout. I'm really missing the Ronix 6.9 decals I use in my high detail build, but I mean this will have to do for now. So it's not terrible actually, and maybe we can even have some additional parking back here. Yeah, and then we can hide this. Maybe something like this. That's pretty cool. But yeah, a bit limited on the, of course, capacity for detailing here with using only vanilla assets and props. But honestly, I'm very happy with the progress so far, and I gotta admit I find it pretty fun to actually work with this. It is a bit of a limitation, but it's really fun trying to just get it to look as real and nice as possible. And there we've got another block all made, which I think looks pretty good. We've got this block here with the firehouse. Now, when I start the city and, you know, I hit play and we'll see people move in, there's going to be a lot of our budget that is going to need adjustment of some sort because we are probably producing too much electricity to actually use. The same for water. But I think I have went ahead and adjusted them to only run at half capacity. And the same with the trains, because yeah, as of now I have soon burned through 500k. I am 4,500 in the red, probably more with the addition of these service buildings and the 2 schools. And there's still zero residents here in San Leon. So this might be the shortest YouTube series ever if my budget just completely blows up and I'm not able to provide like a steady income from the residents here. So we're gonna hit play in this episode and let the city fill out. And yeah, I'm crossing fingers that it's gonna be financially viable. But I mean, we can always go in depth, right? That's we can always go in depth. Maybe it would be befitting if we have actually have like a set of these more right here. I think that looks pretty good. And I'm generally just really happy with how this public housing row house-ish area turned out. Just gonna cover with trees, of course. We'll use this these small ones as well. And then I guess we should probably fence off this this area. We can use this the fence we've used over here. Just gonna grab that and just fence the whole thing in. Yep, something like that. And then we've got like these shrubs here. They might be a good fit right here then. And in some of these very open areas as well. They do actually add quite a bit of detail, despite being so simple. Very nice. I'm going to need hotels and motels here in San Leon. Tourism is supposed to be an ever-growing part of the city. And we've got a few different assets by now for hotels. We actually have quite a few in the game because, of course, the mid-century added these, which look really cool. There's a hotel as well. The hotel DLC obviously added quite a few, but there are also a couple of hotels just part of the base game. So motel gives us 2 results, and if we search for hotel, we've got like a ton. And I can't wait to use some of these very vintage coastal hotels, but I don't think they're fitting right in here. in the downtown core of San Leon. So I would like to find hotels that are a little more, I don't know if sleazy is actually the right word, but I'd like to have like a budget motel over here by the fire station. So I'm just gonna turn the fire station around a bit, I think. And yeah, that's actually a pretty nice looking at. How much did that cost? 40,000. Yeah, never mind. Thank you, but no thanks. That's a lot for a very small, non-fancy building, I find. So maybe we should just use the motel I found before. Although these hotels, they just look fantastic. I mean, they fit so well within the theme of our Miami city. So if I just place it, how's the actual placement? It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. We can, I mean, if we use Bob to just remove the stuff I don't want from this building, so for instance, the hedge and maybe even the small planters, there you go, then that reduces the footprint of this tower quite a bit, and we can just align it to the corner here. There you go, you've got the hotel oasis. What we can do then is adjust this building and we'll just provide the parking needed for the hotel. So let's see, we'll go something like this. Actually, preferably we'd have two in continuation, because I mean it is a hotel, right? So there are quite a few guests, and if we just adjust this building, can we? Maybe we should just move it here to the end on this corner. That's fine. We'll need to provide a base for this building. I feel that always just adds a lot of character to an area to have a good base. So we're looking for a building with a big footprint, but not too tall. Let's see what we can grab. Maybe this is like sort of a market, grocery store thingy. If I place this down, can I then hide some parking? I can. Then just see if I can get this building to fit in here. I can. And we'll add another building here. Actually, maybe this is just a better base entirely. So I'll just switch that around, and we'll have one here as well. And that's actually pretty nice. That's a good base. We'll just move this so that it covers it all up. There you go. And that's so that this building doesn't really stick out too much. And adjust the trees ever so slightly. We'll have a tree here as well. Cool. We've got the Hotel Oasis. Good fit, I feel. We'll just remove this. And then, do we actually have a proper looking hitch in vanilla? This one is all right. Ooh, ooh. Oi, ouch. Look at this asset. Never mind. We can use this. This one is all right. It's all right. There are going to be limitations in this build. We all knew that, and we are seeing them now. It's also a very tall hitch, so I'm actually hopeful if I can... Can I lower this into the ground? No, I can't. Oh well. Oh well, it's okay. We'll just add some bushes, and then of course some palms. Nothing without palms, right? The question of course is, wow, I'd actually like a big tree as well. No, it's too big. We'll need some palms. Are these the right fit? Let's see what we've got to choose from. I'm really happy with the types of trees we've got to work with here that have been added. I've mentioned this before, I think, in another episode, but I can't stress that enough. It's awesome. So this is a very funny looking palm. Gonna add that. And then we're gonna add these small ones here. Yoink, yoink, and here, and let's see, here. Gonna add a bit of dirt to just detail it up. It's I mean, it's not the most fancy hotel, but it does have a pretty good location. Of course, question is if I should just flip it. Probably. Is that a bit of a better view? Let me know what you guys think. I'm actually starting to wonder a bit about the placement of this, because it doesn't really have nice balconies facing the water here, and wouldn't it make sense to have that? So I'm going to add some leisure stuff, these 2 baseball courts here, to the area with the fire station. We'll add parking as well, because if there are no parking lots, our good healthy American residents won't be able to park their cars, and they won't visit stuff if they can't park their cars. So we'll add some parking. I'm going to go into Bob and remove the awful trees that they used here. I'm sorry. I have to be blunt, I feel. And we're going to connect up and just add some random paths throughout. Something like this. Cool. Then let's see. Can I actually search for toilet? Yeah, I could. We'll add some bathrooms here, because that's a good feature of a little recreational park, I feel. And we might even add some benches here and there for more leisure. So let's see what we've got as far as props go. These, they look nice. And I'll add 2 here. So this essentially is turned into a park as well. So we've actually got quite a bit of parkland now in San Leon. But I really don't mind. I love building parks, and you know, they are rather simple. They are quick to create, but they actually do add like a lot to the city. Especially when we zoom out. I'm really happy with especially this park landscape surrounding the capital. It's very, very simple. It's very overgrown, but I think from afar it actually looks really realistic. This is something that, you know, we see quite a bit on Google Maps. You know, big old trees that are close together. I think sometimes I have a tendency, I know I'm going off a tangent, sorry, but sometimes I have a tendency to not use too many trees, because it's gonna hide some of the detailing when I do high detailed builds. But often when I look at Google Maps, I'll find that, well, some places are, you know, some parks are so covered with trees that you basically can barely see the roads from, you know, drone footage or from Google Maps. So it is pretty realistic that you would add as many trees as possible. For many reasons. It can be cooling, you know, providing good shade, yada yada yada. Great. Let's get some bushes in here. And I just love that they've added this bush to the game as well, because it looks very nice. I could use this in a highly custom build as well with no issues. The original vanilla bushes that ship with the game. Actually, let's just go find one of those. Ooh, this is rough, right? These trees, man. All right, I feel like a bit of a bully now, which wasn't my intention. So yeah, more bushes. Sorry. And I think we're just gonna fence in our fire department in just a second and add a little more detail to it. So we're just adding all these stains. Now I know they might look a little... they are a little too much, but it's all we have to work with, and I'd rather have it than not add it. We're gonna add these big awesome trees. And nothing without palms here in Saint-Léon. Different types of palms. These ones are really cool as well. Very nice. There we go. For the fencing, for the fire department, I'm probably gonna grab this industrial one. Because it doesn't have to be all that pretty, right? So I'll just fence in the entire building. And I'm wondering, do we actually have some fire department props? I assume we do so, because I've got a mod that turns all vehicles we have in game into props as well. And there you go. We've got a few, so maybe we should... Is that gate halfway empty here? Looks like it. So we'll just have one parked here. And we won't have any more parked, but we can add some parked vehicles here as well, of course. And don't worry, I'm gonna do the same for the police. Let's move to the police station, which I don't know where I placed. Oh yeah, of course, it's up here. It's up here. Great. So let's see. Do we have we've got a police vehicle here. Let's just add a bunch out here. Ah, this is actually, I mean, this is like public parking, right? So maybe that's not a great idea. The police station doesn't actually have all that much room. If I remove this building and just draw back the police station a bit. Still gonna treat it as a wall-to-wall here, but then we can have police cars out front. And what is this? A police van? Cool. Very cool. And dirt. Great. For the school, I'm not going to add any special buildings. We'll just add a palm here, and here, and here, and here. Palms, palms, palms. Now, I completely forgot about one thing. We don't have any healthcare, and this is probably very expensive. Yeah, 95k, 65, and 10k. I think we need to just go with a small medical clinic. And we'll have to just upgrade as we move along with the city. Right now, I don't think we can realistically add the. I mean, we can't use the funds any better right now. I don't feel so. I don't feel like we can. I'm gonna run out of money. I'm not even joking. I'm not great at earning money and adjusting budgets in this game. So it's a very real fear. So yeah, we'll go with a small clinic as a starter. And I think that's gonna be it for this episode. It's gonna be a very long one, but I feel that we've just got so much done. And let's just have a look around. Of course I'm gonna record some cinematics. Now, ideally, I would like to detail up the roads a bit more with some custom markings with the intersection marking tool, because we had a vote here on the channel where you guys were very clear you want me to use lots of road markings throughout, and I am gonna do that. But I've just done a tiny bit of detailing here because I don't want to spend too much time on it in this particular episode, because the emphasis in this episode is just to get Saint-Léon established, get an actual city going, and I am very, very, very happy with the result. I am open to feedback and comments, so please, anything you might have you want to share, let me know. Also, I haven't decided what to do with this weird space yet. I was thinking of a stadium, but I haven't placed it because I can't really realistically afford it currently. But what else do you see would be a cool fit here? Nestled in between railways, big interchanges, and the downtown core of Sang-Leong. What should we actually do here? What should we fit here? Remember, I am restricted by vanilla assets and props, so but I'll read any suggestion and I'll have to get creative if I have to get creative, and we'll try it out. So for road markings, I've just went ahead and grabbed this very simple 2-lane road with parking that we use throughout much of the city, and I've just added this wonderful sort of orange, red, maroon brick decal for the parking lanes, which I think looks really nice. And then what I'm going to do throughout some of parts of the city is I'm just going to add these nodes here so that I can have different segments in here actually. So if I grab this here, I can say no markings. I can do the same over here. We'll have it be, a middle component, because that gives me area here to work with. So I can have something very specific in here. But to show you guys how I created the other setup, what we start out by doing is just drawing some straight lines here. And we go hold down Alt to create a filler. We create a filler, we select a decal, and then there's this wonderful, let's see if I can find it, this brick pavement that's part of the vanilla game. And we can just adjust the actual color and the transparency just a bit. I'll add it over here as well. There you go. Then for this middle segment here, what we can do is use Traffic Manager to remove parking rights here. So you can park on this segment and this segment, not this middle one. Then we'll create like a planter here alongside. So we can just say it's a grass island. We need curb sizing on either side for it to look good. And well, there you go. Then we'll be able to very easily plant like trees alongside. So we'll just, actually I would like to get the white lines to just go through. I know it's gonna remove it here, that's fine, because we can just create it very easily anew. There we go. And we'll do the same over here. Then we can have like big trees on these planter segments in the middle. So I'll just copy paste this and add it. And then since, we've got 2 nodes here, what we could have done instead is to add 1 node and then just make it wider and actually detail that. But I think this is fine. And we'll just add a tree. A tree of our liking could be these. It could even be the big ones to like really make it feel and look very lush. But it could also be just 3 of these types of palms here. There you go. You can of course add that with the intersection marking tool as well. I think I'm gonna delete the central one actually. But anyways, I mean, there are many things you can do. Now it's very easy for us to copy this and just paste it throughout the city for a bit of a unique look. So despite it being like vanilla decals and vanilla roads, of course, then with the intersection marking tool, we do add quite a bit of character by copy pasting this around. And now I don't think I can wait anymore, and I don't think you guys can either. So let's just hit play and see what happens. And we already have to adjust our budget for electricity. So let's just bring that up to normal capacity. We'll do the same with water for now. And then we'll adjust if we are completely screwed in sense of economics. Actually, that was adding a bit too much, right? But let's just let it play. We are turning a substantial weekly income because lots of people are actually gonna move into San Leon here. So we'll just let it play out and we'll see where it all settles in a few minutes. Awesome. Let's assess our situation and see where we are. So we are making a bit of profit. We're at around 1600 for the population. I am just gonna check if, yeah, everything is covered by the downtown district. So let's just have a look and see where we stand. So basically there's probably a couple of hundred extra residents to be moving in the coming time, because there's about 100 empty households as of now. However, we've got many more jobs than we can currently support with our population, but that's pretty much my plan actually. This is going to be a Florida downtown, so there are going to be, you know, residential communities within, but the population in the downtown is not going to be enough to sustain all the jobs in the downtown. We are gonna need lots of suburban sprawl to achieve that effect. So that's perfect. Let's check some of our services. We've got a big queue here mounting up, but I mean, that's just how it is, I assume, until things settle a bit. For electricity, we don't need all the electricity we are producing at all. So I can go in here and just start adjusting it. We'll just lower it a bit and see how that affects capacity. So we're at 31, which is, yeah, it's a good spot. It's got, we can go even lower. I mean, we're gonna need the money for massive expansions in the region. So if we settle for around 24 megawatts, then that's pretty good, I feel. Let's have a look at our water situation. We have sewage draining capacity, which is about 10 times higher than the actual production of sewage. And our pumping capacity is, you know, around 5 times higher. So we can definitely turn down our budget here as well. Let's see where we end up. So that's double, and that's about 4 or 5 times as much. So that's very nice. We are turning a good profit as well due to those changes. People are still moving in, obviously. The city is still growing. Let's have a look at our education stats. We've got a very small amount of eligible children for elementary school right now. So we might as well just downsize our budget for education as well. I mean, this is Florida, so it should be at the very bottom at all times, no matter the eligible population, right? But that would be the most realistic at least. But I think let's do it like this. We've got 230 capacity now. So that means that the 2 schools we placed are operating at about 50% each, it feels. For high school, university, we've got quite a few people that have a high school degree, but would like to get a university degree. So that's also something we are going to have to look into. That's going to be very exciting. I don't think I've built a proper university in Cities Skylines before. Healthcare, we've got no sick citizens currently, so we can adjust our budget here as well. I'm just gonna tune it down to about 65% capacity. Our average citizen health isn't all that high, but we will improve that in the coming months. And we don't have any death care yet, so we're gonna have to place that as well, of course. But overall, I am so happy with the start we've got to San Leon here, and I can't wait to hear you guys' feedback, comments, input, what you feel we could improve and emphasize more, and What are your thoughts for future episodes? What should we build next? I think the next episode we should continue expanding the city, so that's gonna be one of the major themes, obviously. But it could have other themes as well. We've got a commuter train coming in here as well to our station. That's a great asset, right? Quite a few people actually use the train as well, so there you go with all my stupid jokes about people not using trains in Florida. What a start. If you've stuck with me for this long, thank you guys so much for watching, and the support since I ever started back in August has just been incredible. But in particular, the last couple of weeks, the month of June has just been absolutely crazy. I feel like, my channel has sort of exploded really. And I'm so happy about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. I do the best I can to use just about every available hour of spare time I have to, put my heart into this channel. So I'm very, very thankful that you guys are rewarding that effort. If you want early access to future episodes whenever possible for me, you can check out my Patreon as well. It's $1 a month, and that gets you started with all the benefits actually. And of course, if you want to help me, you can like and comment on this video. That helps it push it out to the YouTube stratosphere and reach more people. And of course, if you don't want to miss any new uploads from me in Crystal Reef County or any of my other content I create, make sure you subscribe and enable notifications. I'm going to leave you guys with the best cinematics that I can record of the city, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.